present-day society, the media deeply impacts our beliefs, values, and opinions. It is a common subject to investigate and pick apart the way that the media portrays stereotypes such as African Americans, the LGBTQ community, or women. However, one stereotype that is often overlooked and incredibly harmful to society is the media's portrayal of men. According to Diana Selmo, mediated popular culture is the cause of these investigations and is defined as what we experience through movies, TV, songs, comic strips, and advertisements that may influence us to believe and behave in certain ways. They also shape beliefs regarding how we ought not to behave.
Have identified a consistent set of messages the culture sends boys about what it means to be a real man. 99% of rapes are committed by men. Men commit approximately 90% of murder. And over the past 30 years, 61 of the last 62 mass shootings have been committed by men. And the reason this matters so much is that while we've been debating whether guns or movies and video games are more to blame for violence, we've missed what the culture teaches boys about what it means to be a man. That when we talk about violence in America, whether it's real or imaginary, we're almost always talking about violent masculinity. For the most part, violence is a men's issue.
So what's the issue with this? Well, the male stereotype has become ingrained into our interpretation of what a male is. Now, males of all ages feel as if they must be violent, aggressive, and never show emotion instead of their true, authentic selves. According to Katz, boys and men in the current U.S. culture must put up a front which hides their vulnerabilities or individual characteristics that are not considered masculine, and those that fall short of being considered masculine are at risk of being subjected to ridicule and shaming. From birth, children are taught that there are inherent differences between the two genders, and they know these differences from a very young age. As boys, they are discouraged from playing with Barbies and encouraged to play with superheroes, violent villains, and fake guns.
What's the difference between a boy and a girl?
Well, boys like doing like rough sort of stuff, and girls like doing kind of like kind and soft.
Girls are gentle.
Yeah.
And boys are vicious animals?
Yeah. Girls like pink, boys don't.
Sometimes boys like pink, sometimes girls don't like pink, right? Yeah.
Girls shop a lot, boys don't.
Sometimes boys shop a lot, though.
Boys like to watch TV a lot, and girls don't.
They don't? I think some girls do.
This is hard.
Athletically, males have begun opting out of low-contact sports due to the lack of contact and aggression. Instead, they prefer to play football and make big hits like this.
Here comes the, no, here comes the, oh, here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah, here comes the, no, here comes the, oh, here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that.
As far as entertainment goes, films that target men contain content that is incredibly violent, action-packed, and bloody, even for kids, leading boys to develop and conform to the stereotypical masculine man. Justin Foote, a doctoral candidate at Ohio University, points out that even some of our nation's most prominent political figures like Ronald Reagan and George W. Bush have made conservative statements that claim the health of the nation is in decline due to a diminished emphasis on masculine leadership. And naturally, President Trump has had a history of similar behavior.
You know, I don't want to sound too much like a chauvinist, but when I come home and dinner's not ready, I go through the roof.
There's not a lot of disagreement because ultimately Ivana does exactly as I tell her to do.
See, wait a minute.
Male chauvinist.
Right, men? Is that right? Huh?
Putting a wife to work is a very dangerous thing. I mean, I've really given a lot of women great opportunity.
Frankly, if Hillary Clinton were a man, I don't think she'd get 5% of the vote. The only thing she's got going is the woman's card.
The United States for decades now have brainwashed society through the media to create the male stereotype and stigma, forcing males everywhere to conform to their masculinity in an attempt to avoid vulnerabilities. We must become more aware and accepting of a newly defined male stereotype that discourages violence and encourages authenticity in order for the nation that we live in to thrive happily and peacefully.